everyone. Welcome to our first episode of Knowledge is Power. I always say in my journey that I find that the more knowledge I gain, the better I am, and the more open minded and accepting I become. Because, like I said, if some of you know, I'm actually an introvert. I'm not someone that who's so comfortable around crowds, someone that who's very comfortable in speaking out, but I have changed that because knowledge gave me power. So I wanted to share those knowledge opportunity to all of you to give you a place that you can improve from the within so it will enhance your life. It is the purpose of our Yeah the Girl 40 plus community. It is why that we have this space for you so you can grow with us. So today I have an expert in here. She is someone that I know for a few years ago, and I have appointed her as our business expert. A lot of you don't know who is she and what her background is, and I know that there was some posts recently that we have an excellent traction on it. Guess what? Every single comment that you put down there, good or bad, it actually increased tractions, and that's what we want in social media algorithm. So let's take that aside and let me show you how I actually met Tanya. A few years ago, I was on her recording. I was invited as a guest on her podcast, or I think it was Facebook Live as well. And I met this wonderful woman, and she interviewed me. And after that, we have a conversation. At that time, my partner was going in for surgery. So everyone sort of know that my current partner is very, very close to me, okay? And so when he had the surgery, I was quite worried. And I was talking to Tanya, and she showed me about some of the treatment and pains that she went through in her own life. So she have now doing something for others as well, just so that people can get out of pain. The business side of it is another issue. I wasn't interested at that part at that time either. All I wanted to know is how I'm going to help another, like my partner. And to my surprise, she trusts this stranger over the internet and actually sent me her prized possession all the way from Adelaide to my place and let me use it for 4 weeks so my partner can heal a lot faster. He was in surgery and in the hospital for 7 days. Every single day, I would carry 3 to 4 liters of water just to his bed so he can actually heal and recover a lot better.
Mm.
And to our surprise, he did recover at the fastest way that he could be. So I was very impressed with it. And it was like about a month later, I helped her to actually put the machine to repair and or filtering at that time. And guess what? I left that for 2 years before me and my partner finally take the plunge and to invest on our health. And guess what? He used to take 9 to 12 painkillers per day.
Wow.
And we've been on this water for, I think, probably 4 months. And now he only needed 3 every few days when he really feel the pain.
Mm.
And me, for myself, I stopped taking heartburn tablets. I used to so rely on it that I need about 2 per day just to survive. And I don't have to anymore. And I'm not saying this is a magical item or anything like that. I don't even know half the things that she does. I'm a user. Okay, that's all I am. But I'm telling you this story not to try to impress you or anything like that. I just wanted to show you what Tanya is and who she is as a person. Someone that who's loving, giving, compassionate, and willing to help others.
Thank you.
So I have sussed her out. I have checked her legitimacy or something like that. I have checked her potential. I have checked all of that. And not just her, and in every single expert that I invite to this platform, they have all been interviewed and checked and sussed out by me. So you can enjoy professional advice, kindness, support from our expert.
Thank you.
So enough about us, enough about me. Tanya, thank you so much for being my guest on our first episode of Knowledge is Power. We did interview her 2 weeks ago, okay? Yeah, that was before that post came out. We did interview her on Business Monday as well. But it's okay, we're going to do it again. And this time we're going to in-depth of who Tanya is, what does she do? She's multi things. I can tell you that she has so much knowledge to give to you.
Mm.
So, Tanya, please introduce yourself and tell us a bit more about you.
Oh, thank you, Martha. That was just such a beautiful introduction. And the power of social media is really amazing. And that's what brought us together. And so I want to just try in a few minutes to give you a quick rundown about who I am, my past, and that kind of stuff. You can find that on my profile as well. So I grew up in a small country town in Brighton, northeast Victoria. I had a burning desire. I think I became an entrepreneur at the age of 6. I wanted to be a chef. So my burning desire at the age of 6 was to be a chef by trade. And back, I'm 50, just about turned 53 in August this year, 52. Back those days when I was young, you were classed as, females weren't put into commercial kitchens back then. It was a male-dominated industry. So I went through 53 interviews all around country Victoria and New South Wales to actually find my apprenticeship. And luckily my dad actually was renovating a restaurant at the time, and he asked the owners and told him the struggle and the passion that I wanted to be a chef. So I started my apprenticeship in Bright. And I also then was lucky enough that I took control of my apprenticeship, and I went to Melbourne and worked in a high-flying restaurant down there called Wigs for lawyers and solicitors. And then I finished it back in Bright and also up in Falls Creek. So I was actually given a restaurant at 17 and a half years old. So I owned and operated my first restaurant at 17 and a half years old. So I wasn't even quite at the drinkable age, allowing it to have an alcoholic drink. And I had my first restaurant. So the first challenges therefore were learning new skills, how to deal with people. And of course, I had one of the best restaurants on the Falls Creek Mountain, which had, I was given the restaurant as well because I was known as a really good chef in French and Italian a la carte restaurants around the region as well. So had a great success for that year. By the age of 24, I'd had 3 restaurants. My last one, we actually went belly up. That was also to do with a really toxic relationship that I had been in with for 5 years as well, and completely undid me financially. It affected my whole family. And this was at a point where I realized I actually needed to go and get some help. So I had a lot of counseling to get through all the trauma. And I was only about 22, 23 when that happened. So still fairly young. But like anything, everything that happens to you through your life is meant to push you out of one thing and into another opportunity. You can either choose to stay stuck in life, and this is what I'm a firm believer, or you can take up the opportunity to learn new skills. So I made the decision after getting out of the cooking industry to go and work in food manufacturing for a couple of years. And the driving force of that, funny enough, was a company car. So you just never know what somebody's driving force is at the time. So, and because I was a chef by trade, I was approached by Simplot Australia, a food manufacturer, the largest one around the world, as an area manager in Adelaide. And they were doing a trial project, and they hired 13 of us at one time. We flooded the market over a year. And it was a lot of fun. I learned everything around branding, because Simplot has like Edgel, Birdseye, Nana's, Legos, Chico, 4 and 20, and about 30 brands under their belt. So awesome company to work with, learn. And what we used to do was actually go and educate chefs and all business owners in the restaurant, cafe trade, anybody who bought food. And we became what they were called profit consultants. So we would go in and teach business owners how to effectively run their business, how to actually like measure, portion, and control profit around food. And even simply as fish and chip shop owners, because fish and chip shop owners didn't know how to actually make profit out of chips, funny enough. So I've had some fascinating jobs. And then from there, I worked for Simplot Australia for many years, and I got transferred up to Brisbane from Adelaide. I also then went into bulk food manufacturing. So I worked with companies like Lean Cuisine. So I've worked with really large scale companies. And we looked at really, pulling all the brands apart on the market, testing, doing, really breaking down the profit in products as well to get them the best profit in the products on the market. So is my business training has always kept, progressing and moving through different types of job roles. From there, I got offered the regional area manager for Simplot Australia for Far North Queensland, and my husband and I got transferred. I met Dale in Adelaide after this whole restaurant thing went pear-shaped, and I met him through my next door neighbour. And Dale and I have been together for nearly 29 years this year, and he's my soulmate, my just my best mate. But so we moved to Queensland, up to Cairns in the year 2000, right on the year 2000, which was very exciting for us. I got transferred up with Simplot Australia. I also, at that time, damaged my spine from heavy lifting. So I was traveling out of 4 weeks of the month. I was away 3 weeks, traveling all around the bottom coast of from Ayr across to Mount Isa, Townsville North, and up through the island. So I had a lot of fun traveling and meeting restaurant owners, going out to all the wholesalers, doing product demonstrations and things like that. So absolutely loved it. Great job. But with that, I was heavy lifting all the time. And I blew the discs in my lower spine one day, just lifting the most simple thing. And I ended up having 2 spinal fusions in 2004. So anybody who has chronic back pain, you'll know how bad chronic back pain is. But when you can't stand up and walk and you're completely flat and bedridden for a year, it's a really challenging task that you can't even get out of bed and have a shower. So that's the kind of trauma I went through for a whole year before they would do my spinal fusions. And we had to go through, I think, about 50 odd doctors around the country. Work cover was really full on with all the surgeries that I required. And so it was a healing process of over nearly 5 years. So I was told I was never going to walk again. I'd be in a wheelchair for the rest of my life. And I'm a really positive person, and that really undid me as well, because I was also really highly depressed being in bed for so long. My prognosis was really poor. I thought my husband was going to leave me because I'd never be able to get out of bed. I'd be pretty much a vegetable in bed for the rest of my life. So I was suicidal at the time, and I got given some really good tips and strategies of actually writing it all down in a book and things like that. So I did all that. It was a massive work cover claim. And a couple of years outside that, I started healing. I did a lot of rehabilitation, and I spent a lot of time in the pool. And 20 years down the track, I still spend a lot of time in the pool. So today I get out of bed early and I go to the pool. It's the best medicine for anybody's body, is rehabilitation consistently all the time. So from there, I started a career change, and I had to look at some other different alternatives. So I went and did my certificate 4 in training assessing, being a chef by trade, hospitality background. I thought that's always something I could go back into. So Work Cover placed me into a back to work program and paid my wages at TAFE Queensland for a whole year. So I learnt some admin skills. I learnt to do all the bookings for all the schools and all the apprentice chefs and things like that. When we moved to Cairns, I'm also a philanthropist, you could say. I'm trying to get that word out. All my life, I've done fundraising. I've been in the Miss Australia Awards. I've fundraised for cancer. I've fundraised for Rotary. For the first 10 years I was in Cairns, I also ran fundraising events every single month for 10 years for the Australian Culinary Federation as well. So always had a busy career, a busy life, but I've always been out there fundraising for people and helping people. So the apprentice chefs was my big driving force, and my love and my passion to help apprentice chefs, because I was one, you never have any money and you live on the bones of your ass. And it still runs today. So it was the first thing that when I went to Cairns that I actually got introduced to, and I took it up upon myself to actually be a member and then run the events. So we would book out the best fine dining restaurants across far north Queensland, and it was a networking function lunch every month. And all the money we raised went to the Nestle Chef Hat Awards. So I was also a judging chef as well for the Nestle Chef Hat each year, and for the duration I was there for the 10 years. And then as those kids went through all the training, we would pay for the additional costs for training for the chefs from the trainers from TAFE for them as well, to bring their skill level up. And then we would pay for all their new uniforms if they needed to go to competition, all their transport and accommodation costs and things like that. So these are all fun things that I always got a kick out of giving back to community. So, but out of that career ended, I made a decision I wasn't ready to go back to work. So I went and did a traineeship. Now over my career past, I've worked in apprenticeship centres as well. This was my next career move into an apprenticeship centre. So I always give people free career advice. Now, I am retired, so I don't work. I don't charge people for my time. I am a self-made millionaire now, and I give my time freely to people to help them learn what they need to know or give them free career advice. Are they stuck? Had a blind lady came to me a couple of years ago. She went to TAFE to do a course and they wouldn't fund her. And I said, that's total BS, because you are fully eligible for everything. You can do as many qualifications as you want. The person behind the counter obviously didn't know, and maybe you weren't asking the right questions. So I put her back into TAFE Queensland. I sent her into the disability support services. She was able to enrol and got all the courses for free. So I do a lot of free career advice, because working across the apprenticeship system for many years, in education and training for 20 years, you'll see that through my profile. I've got national roles I've held state roles, state manager roles. I've held a lot of different positions through education and training. So my next career move and change and leap also transition, because we decided to travel as well. And then as we were traveling around Australia, we started pulling into cities and we started doing some contract work. So that when we landed in Perth, we weren't expecting to stay there for very long, and we ended up staying there for 3 years. So I took on a national role with MEGT as their apprenticeship, looking after their ASX 200 and 500 clients. So my role as a business development manager was actually to go and sit with these high profile companies. I mean, we're talking oil, gas, mining, banking, construction, transport, you name it. And so all the big company names, and I would go in and meet the CEOs, the learning development team, the HR team, and we would create training programs and funding, and also around issues in the workplace. So I used to get headhunted for this job role for many, many years, because I was very passionate at what I did and I knew what I did really, really well. And I would spend all my spare time going out, finding what was available in the marketplace. And then I would go and meet all the workforce development funding programs, all the state and federal government programs, meet with those departments to find out what additional money that I could actually tap into for these clients. So my next role, I got embedded into a private training provider, and I ended up spending 12 months with Fortescue Metals, being embedded into their actual company through the training provider I was with. Because what I did was something unique that nobody else ever does. And one of them said, I said to him, what made you choose me to come and do this for you? And he said, the CEO of the company said, you know, you've done something that not one other person ever has done. And you sat down there and you said to me, what are the problems in your business? And let me help reverse engineer to create the programs to remove that and create the change in your business that you're looking for. Nobody ever has ever asked us that. And I said, I love it. This is great. So what we did, we sat down and created a tier approach, say for Fortescue Metals over that 12 months. I interviewed all the people in their office, in the head office in Perth. I spent a lot of time in their head office there. They flew me to all their sites. I interviewed their staff. We looked at the job roles. We looked at their PDFs, you know, on their resumes. And we looked at, were they skilled enough really to do those job roles? And 90% of them weren't. So what we did then is actually started creating training programs to implement all the strategies and that kind of thing. So to give you an idea, fast companies, like growing companies that grow really fast, tend to just hire people and friends of people with really no skill sets or low level skill sets. So we sat with a business admin team, which is still a couple of hundred in the ground level in there, interviewed them, a very large majority of them, just to get a bit of an idea of what the gaps were missing. And then we looked at 3 qualifications that came across that. So Cert 4 in business, frontline management, and a couple of others. So we're able to deliver the core skill sets across those 3 qualifications, apply for the funding. They got a trainer that went into the workplace, delivered that, and they got exactly what they needed. And each of those staff members then walked out with 3 new qualifications in a short period of time. But what companies are looking for is funding that's paid for. They're also looking for payroll tax exemption and things like that. And that's what we're able to provide. We save companies money. And this is the same thing as I'm doing right now. I still mentor and help people, because I love doing things that I like doing during the day. And if I'm free and somebody needs my help, I will jump on and say, what do you need help with? So I'm still happy to freely help and mentor people. So am I qualified in business or to give business advice? Absolutely. I'm qualified to talk to any kind of business, whether it's a hairdressing salon. I've been in and worked across every single business you could possibly imagine around Australia over my last 20 years. And I've had the wildest time of my life. But there's always
It
a
is
but.
good. Like, it is so good. Like, just listening to you, I'm like, wow, this one is like a superwoman. She have went through like health trauma. She have went through mental trauma, and then she still call herself back up to one of the like biggest business company that they ace in Australia. What more can you want in an expert like that, isn't it? And
I
I know this is actually not not just the end. So please, Tanya, keep telling us.
So, even my friends have my personal friends. I know a lot of my personal friends are actually in this Facebook group. They really have no idea what I've done in my career past. And I've been paid when we were in Perth, I got paid insane money to come and talk to companies and businesses. And so I often only worked for companies for 3 or 6 months because once I'd done the job, I was actually bored and I'm like, all right, what can I do next? And people would say, all right. So I just took 3 and 6 month contracts on with companies and then just assess where it was at. So if it was rolling really well, I was like, all right, what can I go and do next? And the next business opportunity always comes at you. And my mum is a spiritual healer, and she always said to me, once you slam like a door closed, the new one always opens. Door of opportunities always open. And so I'm a firm believer of that. And but anyway, the next we get back after we've traveled all around Australia. I've done it for 5 years, and we tick the bucket list off everything. We come home back to Cairns with more money than we ever left with. Another house, because we earned so much money, the accountant said you need to buy another property. We traveled overseas. We ticked the bucket list on everything, and we swam with the whale sharks. We did all the fun things. And we sat back down and we went, holy shit, we never thought that would happen in the wildest dreams. So anyway, so we thought, well, what we'll do is we'll spend some more time back in Cairns, renovate the house, and then offload it. And but I went back to work and was hired as the business manager back at TAFE. So I've been back to TAFE 3 times. Before we went traveling, I was also a trainer for hospitality. So I was training all the hospitality staff. But when I came back this time, I came back in as a business development role, particularly in the community and health portfolio. So I worked across all health, nursing, aged care, community, mental health and all those sorts of things. Very heavily embedded into also Indigenous community programs. And very shortly after I'd taken on that role, I was offered the business manager role for the Far North Queensland region, based in Cairns, but also supporting the manager for a major portfolio. We call it a super portfolio. So I was looking after 110 teaching staff across multiple programs and portfolios across 12 sites. So it was a crazy job where I was working 12 to 15 hours a day, 6 days a week, got paid a crazy income, but at the end of the day, you do burn out. So I had a really bad accident at work. I was at a work event coming down the staircase and I had a bad fall and I hit the brick wall coming down the bottom quite hard, and I jumped because I do have metal cages and rods in my back and I didn't want to crash on the ground. So I jumped the last 4 steps and I hit the ground really hard. So with that one came with multiple injuries. So I damaged my left shoulder by hitting the wall to protect my head from hitting the wall. I tore all my right hip open, all the cartilage open on the hip. But when they damaged, when I did the shoulder reconstruction surgery on this one, they damaged the main ulnar nerve in my arm. I had chronic regional pain syndrome and major ulnar nerve damage through here. So I had I got a bit of paint on my arm, but I had all my arm cut open through here to decompress all the nerves. And with that, I'm also left-handed, so I had to have all my hand cut open, and I've lost the use of my last 3 fingers. So this one really threw me out of my career. In 2019, I had 4 major surgeries, 8 weeks apart. So as soon as I was healed enough, I was in for the next surgery. After the last surgery, after I had my hip done, a few weeks after that, because I spent most of the few months in bed recovering, I lost my core muscles, my core strength, and my spine collapsed again. So I ended back in hospital in a screaming mess for quite some time. And for the next sort of 5 years, I'd been having all the nerves burnt in my spine every 6 months, just so I can stand, sit, and walk and just have a reasonably normal life. I still go into the pool every day, get out for a walk and do all the things like that. So when we got to Adelaide, I found a really awesome neurosurgeon, just in case things went pear-shaped. I was in the best hands. So he's been doing a really innovative thing for me. And almost right on a year ago now, I've had my spine wired up with this new innovative surgery called a reactivate. And I have a pacemaker in my right hip. So 2 weeks out of that surgery, I started recovering really fast, got off all the pain meds, and within 6 weeks, I was back up and walking again. And I walked into the surgery with the neurosurgeon. He said, "We have never seen anybody walk in looking like you do. This is unusual." And he said, "How do you feel?" I said, "I feel amazing," you know. So I've just been also interviewed by the professor of Adelaide University as well, because I'm one of their first test cases of having this procedure done with a heavily fused spine. They certainly didn't expect to see any recovery coming until 6 months, but to be fully recovered in 6 months and have almost 100% of mobility back again was just mind-blowing. So I'm really excited that I've had this surgery, and it did cost $50,000, and Medicare, Medibank Private paid for the whole lot. So, but taking a step back, so when I had this last fall at TAFE, and I made a decision that that was going to be my career ender, and I won't go back to work again. So if you do see a post a little bit further back, I talked about superannuation, and if anybody ever has a work cover claim going on or knows somebody that wants some help and guidance in that, happy to give lots of information. We'll probably do a talk on that another day. Superannuation is another really important thing to make sure that you have your superannuation and total permanent disability in there, because if that's not in there, any problem can happen at any time. You're going to need it and you're going to rely on it, because that was the only thing from my spinal fusions that saved us going bankrupt, because we nearly lost everything and we lived on the bones of our ass until we got that out. So because a lot of compensation claims and payments can take years to happen, and so you do have to be financially prepared for that. So I'd love to have a chat about that another day. But anyway, so when that all happened, my mother was also dying in that same year. So I started having to not worry about what was going on with myself and my recovery. I was trying to deal with her. She was in a very poor state with her partner. So I was going over there each day to try and help feed her and medicate her and all that kind of stuff while all my healing was going on. And this was my line in the sand moment, where you just go, something's got to change here. I was in a really depressed state, like so depressed. I couldn't stop crying 24 hours a day. So I went and got help again. And there's no shame in getting help when you feel really depressed, because that's the quickest way to get out. I did go and get medication, and I was only on it for 2 weeks, but it brought me out of that hole that when you do get severely depressed and you need help to get you out of, especially when you're going through death in the family and all that kind of stuff. So during that time, I thought, well, what am I going to do? I can't go back to work. I love helping people. I'm really one of these people, can't sit still for 5 minutes because it will do my head in. And as you know, I've traveled everywhere. So I put a post on Facebook. Now, I didn't have an Instagram account. I had Facebook, but only had 100 friends on it. And I said to people, I'm looking for an online business, because we were looking for an online business while we were traveling. We saw a lot of people do different things, but everybody said that they had to be online or in a computer area, mobile phone area, at least 3 to 5 hours a day. And I thought, well, we've traveled for 5 years and I don't want to be online, because we like to be off grid, out of mobile phone coverage areas for weeks at a time. So whatever business I do and I start and I find has to revolve around that, has to be fully automated. I don't want to be online and all that kind of stuff. And I didn't want to be doing sales. And I've done multi-level marketing pretty much all my life. I've done Tupperware, I've done Nutrimedics, and 9 years before we went traveling, I also did Party Light on the side. So you never make any money out of those things, and you end up with a shit ton of product. And I still got Nutrimedics lipsticks in the cupboard from 20 years ago. I still got boxes of party light and all that kind of stuff. So I was not interested in anything that was multi-level marketing or that kind of thing. I was looking for something extraordinary that I could really get my head, my teeth into. So a
I
lot of
think
people,
that's really, really, really good. I'm just going to jump in there
yeah,
because it is so good that to know that we like you understand what is multi-level marketing.
mm,
You understand the differences between multi-level marketing compared to affiliate program. It is a
mm,
completely different caliber of things. So
yeah.
for those of us who don't know about this is your time to listen and learn about what is affiliation mean.
Yeah. So I might start with that actually.
Yeah.
So break down the three things here. People go, oh, is it pyramid? Okay, so pyramid selling, the word pyramid selling, if you want to Google that, it's selling products and services that do not exist. And there are a lot of them out there. So you have to be really good at identifying that. And
Mm,
then sometimes these are courses that actually don't exist. So I have come across a couple of them. And right at the start, that was what I came across. So, and it is a jailable offence here in Australia. So be mindful when you talk about this is a pyramid thing. So pyramids they're selling is a jailable offence in Australia and it's illegal.
mm,
Multi-level marketing is across everything, you know, from doTERRA oils to all sorts of things. Now, this means you've got to buy and sell and stock products. Um, and if we've looked at, say, doTERRA oil, so I've done doTERRA on the side as well. So you have to buy and stock the products. You have to make a minimum order every month. If you build your business, you've got to keep ranking. And if you took some time out and left your business for a year, it goes backwards and then you've got to start again. So that's not a really good business model these days. So you want a business model that just keeps going, not coming back. So multi-level marketing requires you to do either home selling, party selling, online selling, having to recruit all the time, having to do a lot of work. It really is a lot of work, you know. And I sort of built myself quite high in nutromedics there, but it was like, God, it was such a hassle having to buy every time I made some money, I had to buy more stock, and I really made no money, even though I got high up into the business. I'm going to tell you a story. One lady I asked a question a few months ago. She's very high up in doTERRA oils, and I said to her, "What is the best money that you've put in your bank account in 1 week?" She said $1,000. I said, "That's not a lot of money." I said, and she did 40 to 60 hours work for $1,000. That's not a good business model. So, you know, and then we looked at affiliate marketing. So I do talk to a lot of people. I've been in this space now for 5 years. And I spent my first year on the hunt for looking for the best businesses. And I can guarantee you that I spend a lot of money. I think Martha said last time we interviewed, I spent 40,000 in the first year. I bought 5 different programs because I had plenty of time. And I sat there and I pulled them all apart. And I thought, if I'm going to recommend one of these 5 programs, because they all had affiliate marketing ability, I'm going to find something that is tangible, a real business. And if I'm going to put my name to it, it had to be right. Now, a lot of people say to me, you know, they've tried it. And then I say, well, how did you try it? And how did you sell it and promote it? Oh, they didn't. And I said that. So they bought a product and they thought, oh, that's all they had to do. And they didn't know how to leverage it. You need to be able to know how to use social media to leverage products and services. And you need to also have products and services that everybody needs and wants in everyday home or business. So my first hunt started realizing I thought, okay, what I know really well is business. So 2 of my affiliate products that I have are totally driven around business. One is around social media to teach everybody, whether they have a business, say a real estate agent, a naturopath, a plumber, or whoever, or if it's just someone like me who needs to learn a new skill. Even though I was really good at sales and marketing, and my KPIs used to be 3 million a month, 3 million a quarter of brand new business into these companies, which I did. I actually found that quite easy, and I thought, well, if I could do that for them, I could do this for myself. But when I actually started learning the online space and I came in and used one of these social media academies, I realized I actually needed to unlearn the skills that I had and learn it in a very different way on social media. So firstly is that is absolutely the first and foremost thing. I always invite people in to come in and learn how to use social media powerfully. The second business that we had put in behind us related to everything in business, because majority of the people that I bring in my business are business owners. And so what a business owner then needs is a place to store their websites, a place to store their Shopify stores, a place to store email campaigns. And coaches are another really great one. So to give you an example, a friend of mine is a coach and she's a hypnotherapist. And she created a course it was 10 videos and to do hypnotherapy on weight loss. And she's actually a personal friend of mine. So I sat down with her and I said to her, how much are you charging for this course? She said, $500. So you're not charging enough for that course. And I said, nobody will buy it. She said, why won't people buy it because it's cheap? And I said, because people don't see there's value in it. So understanding you know, when you've been in this space for a long period of time, like I have, you start to level up on your thought process to realize that people will pay premium price for value. If your price on your products and your courses are too cheap, they won't pay for them. So we sat down and we priced her course and program appropriately. So hence to say, I said, you should not be selling it for anything under 2,500, 3,000 really is the best. That's the lowest price bracket. The best price bracket range for courses and decent programs like she had is between the $3,000 and $5,000. And that is realistic. I paid $5,000 for a Facebook group training course, which did for 12 months. It was absolutely fantastic. So I learned to build and monetize in Facebook groups. So that's what I help and support people in now. I don't do it myself anymore, but I actually help other people. So I'm helping and coaching Martha on a few things as well, giving some
Definitely.
tips
It's
and
been
strategies
great
out of
help.
that. But
Yeah.
so affiliate marketing is definitely, and this comes around what this masterclass is about. Starting with the right things that's going to educate you properly is going to teach you the skill set, whether you're 10 years old or whether you're 80 years old, there is no age bracket. Now, I was having a beautiful talk with a lady that Martha put me in contact with yesterday, and she actually wants to launch something as well. But when she said, like, you know, how much does all this cost? And I was talking to her about all these additional masterclasses you get inside this academy. I said, they're all free. I said, you've just got one small cost for the whole year to use, but you get all this training and all of these additional masterclasses every fortnight for free by the best entrepreneurs across the world. So many people spend time and money. I often interview people still and go and have a coffee with somebody who's had a business up and running and still hasn't really launched properly and have already spent $10,000 on short courses, videos they've done on social media, a little bit of coaching, a bit of this, that, and they're nowhere near actually ready to launch a business. We
Oh,
can
I did about $50,000 in my back. Like, people don't know how much of us we're actually investing on ourselves so we can help other people. So if there's a platform, like, okay, let me be clear, I'm not on that platform either. Okay, everyone. Okay, so I don't know much about it, but I can tell you what I have spent in my bag to actually be able to be at my level at this moment.
absolutely, yeah. And you have to invest in yourself. One of the myth busting things, like one lady sort of said, oh, well, why do you have to pay for anything? If you don't invest in and have skin in the game, you are not going to excel or do anything. If
Yeah.
you spend a bit of money and start investing your time to learn the skills and then find the right products and services that are high converting, which means that every person around the world is looking for it, that's having the right business model. And that's what you will learn in what we do. I also have a few medical grade devices as well, because I was really looking for everything that interlined with business. So I have all the business components all together now, but it took me a whole year to go and find the right things. And I thought, I've got to stick to my guns because I'm business focused, business orientated. I can walk into, I'm part of Go to BNI, Business Networking International. I love networking. So I can talk to people on all sorts of levels. And I know I can put somebody into this. They can pick up the training, roll, they can launch their business out online. I've had a lot of coaches come in and use it. They said they were paying $400 a month for this programs that they were using. I said, well, if you want to just pay monthly, you can pay $100 a month to use this, or it's half the price if you pay for the year. That's a great tax offset. And every time I put a coach in there, they've come back and said, oh my God, this was so much better than the coaching programs that we were looking at. So this offers huge amount. Now, just to give you a bit of perspective, is that the guys that came together when I first started doing it were in the US, and we learned it from a couple, but they were only about 6 or 12 months courses, and you felt like you were left, something was missing. So a group of them all came together and said, you know what, we could build the best training platform globally around the world that would help anybody, whether you had a business or didn't have a business or you had no skill set, and you could do it from the age of 10 to 80. But what they came together and was looked at it's the 80% inner work first, because it really is. You've got to learn to overcome your own fear, your anxiety, and finding your voice, learning to do, content writing, copywriting, sharing your story, and giving tips and strategies around things and what you're learning. So as I mentor everybody through this, I do a mentor call with all my team members every week. And I ask them, what did they learn? What did they take away? What was their biggest struggle? And then break that down for them. And sometimes some people will say, oh, I've written this great long form post and I've been sitting on it for weeks. And I'll go, say, go and burn the damn thing. You obviously need to release something. And then we'll talk on to that. And they'll say, oh, I'm feeling anxious, and I'm this. And I say, well, all right, you need to go to this section over here around inner work. So they thought of everything. They thought, well, what we'll do is they've hired hypnotherapists in there and 2 specific high-level coaches that talk about inner work, self-love, being able to work on yourself and letting go of all the things that hold us back. Because once we do that, we're able to move forward. So these guys have thought of everything, and they built this platform for the people. So whether you have a business or don't, my friend Jessica has 10 children, and her 14-year-old and 10-year-old are now in using it. And I also said to Jessica to get the family involved in it, get all of them in there using it, have fun, go and learn how to take great photos, do stories, content writing, do reels. And this is about attraction marketing, where people are attracted to you. One thing you don't do in affiliate marketing is go and spam people. We teach people never to do that. This is the worst thing you can do. So when you do things properly, great thing about doing high ticket affiliate marketing properly is you run ads on social media. So I run ads out on Facebook. You can't see them on my pages. They're actually set up in a business manager folder, and they're ran out through there. So they're actually not on a page anywhere as such. And it's the simplest things you can learn. I had no tech skills whatsoever. I didn't use social media. So I'm a perfect product of the system. And I have built an awesome business. I'm hoping to retire my husband at the end of the year. We're spending all the money I earn on renovating the house and, and aim to be back on the road again. But one thing I want to teach people is automation. And one of my coaches, my healing friend, said she's really awesome on social media, but she didn't have automation. And I said to her, look, come and use the academy for a few months, dive into there, learn the skills and all that kind of stuff. So she spent 8 months in it, just loved it. And then she decided to go all in on all the businesses that were offered in there and actually leverage that as well, because it all aligned to what she was doing. But what she learned around the automation for a business as a healer was that because social media is open 24/7. And this means that while you're sleeping, you have the ability for people to actually hit links on your social media or go through a buying process. So my ads, 2 of my ads at the moment, actually makes them fill in a form, answer a series of questions. They give me their email and their phone number and allow me to ring them and have a conversation with them. Now, when we go traveling, that won't occur because I'm going to be off grid. But with my friend Lorene, what it did was allowed her to go to sleep, and people would see her post talking about her spiritual healing sessions. And she would wake up in the morning. And I was so excited the first time I remember hearing her ring me. And she goes, oh my God, it really works. She said, my days has booked out and everybody's paid. And I said, that's how it's meant to be. Everybody should pay for your time up front nowadays. Gone are the days where people would book, a healing session and not pay. People should pay. And so when COVID hit, she really took her business to the next level, and it was great. So that's the power of knowing what you know. A lot of people just don't know what they don't know. So this masterclass that we're giving people the opportunity is actually just to come and see it, feel it, and have a look at it, make your own decision. You actually get to go and have a look at it. There's no requirements. There's no contracts on it. You can pay by the month, go and have a look at it. Might give you a lot of inspiring ideas. And what I did was during COVID is I actually took a lot of teachers through this, a lot of nurses through this. The teaching staff was great because I thought, you know what, I know teachers so well. My last job, I had 110 teaching staff. They were all in their 60s and 70s, most beautiful people, but their skill set was enormous. And even they were doing adult English migrant programs and C programs and different things like Youth Justice, the Navy programs. But teachers have the skills and the ability to do short courses and programs online, but they are very regimented in what they do and what they know and how to do that. So when I took them into this space and showed them how to do this, create a course, short course on programs, and I said, your biggest audience right now is homeschooling parents.
Yeah.
Like, oh, and I said, not only homeschooling parents, but homeschooling grandparents. So I'm going to teach you and show you how to run a series of 10 to 15-minute videos doing all sorts of different things. And then I'm going to show you how to put it in an affiliate store where other people are going to go and grab that product and sell it for you. And you're going to wake up tomorrow and you're going to have money in your bank. How does that sound? Is that something you want to learn? Absolutely. So, every conversation I have with every person is very different. Everybody has a different need or want. For me, I wanted a fully automated business, which means I don't have to do sales. I can be on holiday. I've had 9 holidays. We've put all the social media up on my social media a month in advance with all the links on it. We've gone away. We've run a masterclass like this one that's on at the end of the month. And I've had 20 odd people come through. Didn't know any of them from a bar of soap. So the power of social media means we have a global audience, a global reach. And when you start learning to just do things that people want to need and hear, but you'd also put a bit of personal stuff on there. I don't put much personal stuff on there because I have a lot going on. My husband doesn't want people to know that. We care for 6 very frail elderly parents at the moment as well. That's quite traumatic. So we don't put any of that on social media. That's nobody's business. But I always think, oh, this would make a great post. But it's the hardest thing is I just don't do those things. So I put things on social media and share stories to inspire people that you can take action. Now, I have a blind lady doing this and I have deaf ladies doing this. So, and we are now educating some Aboriginal communities in this as well. So I have a lady up there who's now teaching some communities up through the Northern Territory. We are teaching people all sorts from all around the place, different skill sets and different things and there is no excuse around age, whether you're 40, 50, 60, 70, I've even put 80-year-olds into this. 80-year-olds can start entrepreneurship and start changing their financial situation because there is so much opportunity out there, but it's just finding the place to start, learn the skill set, learn how to do social media very powerfully, and you can do anything from there. So one of the simplest quick things that somebody can make money from is actually doing Canva posts. That's the simplest thing that somebody can make money on, quick and easy.
I think that would be really good that we can have another session, like a longer section about like understanding a bit more about affiliate marketing, how to actually sell yourself, how to actually use all of that. Because I think a lot of like, I come from the coaching space. A lot of us actually doesn't know that, oh, I thought that I only need to teach people. I thought that I only need to give my knowledge out. But how do people know what you do? How do people get to know and trust you and like you? How do people do all of that? You don't understand the behind of it. And that's why a lot of people say, oh, I paid for that course and it didn't work. Oh, I did this, but it didn't work. And I can guarantee you, you're not hearing the backstory. I have been training coaches on how to sell themselves on or setting up their business and sell themselves because yes, that's what you're doing. You're literally selling your skill. So a lot of them have that resistance into just saying a hi on social media, spending 20 hours on one post, where people don't know that when I was running my online business, I spent about less than 15 minutes a day on my social media.
It's
That's
odd.
it. That's all I do. Now I'm building a community. My God, I'm spending 10 hours a day in here. But this is a building stage. So I'm willing to actually take the learning, do all of that so I can actually have the ground set. It's just like building a house. And I'm not selling Tanya here. I'm not. I'm not selling any of our expert here. I'm trying to stay in a very neutral space, and I can only speak from my own experience with my own interaction with Tanya and all the experts that we have in our space.
Mm.
So today it has been just such a great learning about Tanya. Like I'm going to put this link of the recording into that post that people were questioning so they can get more understanding and make that decision for themselves.
Yeah.
Because it is so hard when you don't know what you don't know, but then fear does creep in
Mm.
because of all our past experience, or have we seen other people doing that, and you immediately think that's bad for you, that is bad for you, and we turn into this
Making
really
prejudgment.
motherly, yeah, protector, that we want to protect people, we want to support people, and we understand that.
Mm.
We really, really do understand that.
Mm.
As long as you do it with respect, not not any finger pointing attack or anything like that, I will let it go. I will let you actually have your voice heard. And guess what? I help so many people in the behind. I delete so many comments. I protect the people who are attacked, and most people doesn't know about it. And I
Mm.
don't need to tell all of you because you're in my space, you're in this community. It is my honor and my pleasure to serve all of you. So once again, thank you, Tanya, for giving us this beautiful explanation. And I honestly, one of my highlights is definitely the differences between affiliated marketing, MLM, and premium scheme, because I like there's so many stigma about it that we really don't
There's
know.
probably only one we didn't actually cover off, which is direct selling. And
Ah,
so
okay. Yeah.
this affiliate marketing that we do really formulates into the back end of direct selling. So most
Ah,
manufacturers nowadays are actually moving out of, having stores and warehouses, and now are using affiliate marketing to allow us to sell direct from a manufacturer to a person's home. So that's why
ah,
they pay us a higher price, because effectively we really are just like a mortgage broker. And so
mm,
over the next, like it's really, the door is really opening huge now.
yeah.
And the more you have a personal brand and you build your audience, like I started with 100 people on Facebook. I probably used to spend 5 hours a day on Facebook. I spend 15 minutes now because I know how
Yes.
to do it well. And
Yeah.
but direct selling is the biggest thing now. Everything from your wiki vegetable beds to probably, we might even find houses on there one day, but
Yeah.
we're no different to a mortgage broker. A mortgage
Yeah.
broker gets paid for lining you up to banks and services. We do the same thing. Mm.
Exactly.
Thank you.
And it's just that have that opening into it, because like with what we're doing here, we do affiliate with our expert speaker as well, because you're not getting charged for being in this space. No membership fees are being charged.
Mm.
So who's going to pay for our VA, our admin, and all the people that who's working behind the scene? We have to find something somewhere. So that is what I call an exchange.
Mm.
Everything we do in this life is an exchange. The energy exchange, money is an exchange, our giving is an exchange. So when we have that heart to support, first thing that we do need to ask is, what are we giving? What are we giving that we can help people? If you have that mindset, like what Tanya said, don't go into a business thinking about you're making money. Go into a business because you love it and you want to do something. That's when everything's starting to line up for you. And I do
Yeah.
believe in the universe is always listening. When you realize what you're doing that can help people, the
Yes.
good things will come to you. Just have patience. I know it's tough. I know it's hard, but you got to have the patience and willing to go and get out of that block, get out
Mm.
of that barrier. That's how you can grow and shine, because that's
Yeah.
what we want you to do in our community with all our training, to shine and glow so you can be the best version of you. Once again, I wanted to thank you, Tanya, and I look forward for more Knowledge is Power series, because Tanya can talk for days about what she knows and bringing us all the information that we need. So I will actually speak with her and organize more training for all of you so you can actually benefit. One of the things that we were looking at was money block, isn't it? And I admit that I do have money block. So that's on the coming. So if that's something that you like to come in, feel free to follow us and let us know what you wanted to hear. Once again, thank you, Tanya, and
Thanks,
thank you
Martha.
for all the listener and all the viewers. And I see
Appreciate your
you
time.
again next Thursday. Bye.
Bye.